I never thought my life would break like that. I was a wife, a daughter, a woman who trusted too much. I thought love meant safety, but I learned the hard way that love can also be the sharpest knife. His name is Adrian, my husband, the man I thought would fight for me, stand beside me, protect me from the world. Instead, when lies surrounded me, he turned his back. He chose them over me. I can still see the day it all ended. The rain was pouring down outside. My hands shook as I tried to explain, my voice breaking with every word. Adrian, please. You know me. You know I would never. But he didn't look at me. His jaw was tight, his eyes cold like a stranger's. Enough, Lena, he said. His voice was low, final. I don't want to hear another word. I felt my knees weaken. So you believe them? You believe their lies over me? He didn't answer. He didn't have to. The silence between us was louder than any words. That silence was the moment my world broke. I left that night. I packed nothing but a small bag. No tears, no goodbye. Just silence. Why silence? But silence is not defeat. That silence was my shield, my way to survive. They thought I had disappeared forever, that I was gone and broken. What they didn't know was that in the shadows, I was gathering strength, because you cannot break a woman who has nothing left to lose. The years that followed were not easy. I worked in small towns, changed numbers, cut off anyone who knew me. I lived quietly, almost like a ghost. But I was not dead, and in that silence I kept a secret. A secret even Adrian did not know. A child. My son. Noah. The first time I held him, tiny and warm against my chest, I knew the truth. No matter what Adrian had done, he was part of this boy too. Noah was mine, but he was also his. Some nights when Noah slept, I whispered to him softly, "Your daddy doesn't know you yet, but one day he will." I hated Adrian for what he did. But love is strange. It doesn't vanish just because you want it to. Somewhere deep inside I still loved him, and maybe that love was my biggest weakness. Years passed. Noah grew into a curious, bright-eyed boy who filled my days with laughter. But even as I smiled at him, I carried fire inside me. I was no longer the woman Adrian had betrayed. I was stronger, colder, ready. And I knew one day, fate would bring us face to face again. That day came sooner than I thought. It was a clear afternoon. Noah and I were walking home from school, his little hand gripping mine as he told me about his drawings in class. My heart was light, my steps steady, until the black car stopped beside us. The door opened and there he was, Adrian. My breath froze. My body went stiff. For a moment, the years between us disappeared, and it felt like that night again when he had shattered me with silence. He stepped out slowly, his tall frame casting a shadow on the pavement. His suit was sharp, his presence heavy, the same storm-gray eyes locking onto me. "Lena," he said, his voice low, rough. Hearing my name from his lips after so many years was like being thrown into fire. I gripped Noah's hand tighter. My son looked up at him curiously, unaware of the storm standing before us. I forced myself to stand tall, my voice steady. "Adrian." His gaze flickered to Noah, then back to me. I saw the question in his eyes, but I said nothing. Not yet, because this time I wasn't the woman who begged him to believe me. I wasn't the woman who cried for his love. This time I was the woman who had risen again, and this time I was not playing nice. Adrian's eyes stayed on me like he couldn't believe I was real. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The street was quiet except for Noah humming softly, swinging our joined hands. Adrian finally took a step closer. His voice was steady, but I could hear the crack beneath it. "Lena, where have you been?" I looked straight at him, my face calm though my heart was racing. "Does it matter?" His jaw tightened. "Of course it matters. You disappeared. No word, no trace. I thought—" He stopped, swallowing hard. "I thought I lost you forever." I almost laughed at that. Lost me? He had thrown me away with his silence years ago, but I held the words back. I had promised myself I wouldn't let him see me break again. Instead, I said flatly, "You didn't lose me, Adrian. You let me go, that hit him." I saw it in the way his eyes flickered, the way his fists clenched at his sides. Noah tugged on my hand. "Mommy, who is he?" My throat closed. Adrian's eyes snapped to Noah, sharp, questioning. I felt the air shift around us, heavy with a truth he hadn't discovered yet. Before I could answer, Adrian crouched slightly, his voice softer than I remembered. "Hi, buddy. What's your name?" Noah blinked, then looked at me, unsure if he should speak. I gave a small nod. "Noah," he said proudly. Adrian repeated it, his lips forming the name like it carried weight. "Noah?" His gaze returned to me, stormy, searching. I felt his unspoken question burning into me. "Is he mine?" I lifted my chin, my voice calm but sharp. "We should go." I started to walk, pulling Noah gently along, but Adrian moved quickly, stepping in front of us. His hand lifted slightly as if to stop me, then dropped like he didn't dare touch me. "Don't walk away from me again, Lena," he said, his voice low but fierce. "Not this time." I stared at him, my chest tight. "You don't get to say that. You're the one who walked away first." He flinched, but his eyes burned with something else now. Possession. Need. The same fire I had buried deep inside me all these years. That night, after I tucked Noah into bed, I couldn't sleep. My body still shook from seeing Adrian. My mind replayed every word, every look, every question in his eyes. I went to the window, staring out at the moonlit street. And for the first time in years, I whispered the truth to myself. I still love him. It hurt to admit it. I hated that after everything he had done, my heart still beat faster at the thought of him. But love doesn't vanish just because you want it to. And yet, alongside the love was another fire, anger, pain, betrayal. That was the fire that had kept me alive. That was the fire that whispered, "He will never break you again." 2 days later, Adrian came back. I was walking Noah to school when the same black car pulled up again. He stepped out looking every bit the powerful man the world knew him as. Sharp suit, cold eyes, heavy presence. But when his gaze landed on me, there was nothing cold. "Lena," he said, like my name was the only word he remembered. I sighed. "You shouldn't be here." His eyes narrowed. "I need answers." He glanced at Noah, then back at me. "Is he—" I cut him off, my voice firm. "This isn't the place." Noah skipped ahead, humming. Adrian's gaze followed him with a mix of awe and pain that almost cracked my walls. Almost. When Noah disappeared into the school building, I turned back to Adrian. My voice shook, but I forced strength into it. "Yes, he's yours." His body went still. His breath caught like the world had stopped spinning. "My son," he whispered. The word hit me harder than I expected. For a moment, I saw the man I had once loved, raw and vulnerable, not the cold CEO the world saw. "Yes," I said softly, "but you don't get to walk back in and claim him. Not after what you did." His eyes darkened, but not with anger, with something else. "Lena, you should have told me." I laughed bitterly. "And why? So you could call me a liar again? So you could believe someone else's words over mine?" He stepped closer, his voice low and rough. I was wrong. I froze. Adrian Knight, the man who never admitted weakness, was saying the words I had dreamed of hearing for years. But it was too late, wasn't it? I wanted to tell him I didn't care, that nothing he said could erase the past. But when his hand lifted, hesitating inches from my cheek, my heart betrayed me, because deep down, I still wanted his touch, I still wanted him, I still wanted to be his, and that was the most dangerous truth of all. That night, I couldn't hide my thoughts anymore. I sat by Noah's bed, watching him sleep, and whispered softly, "Your father has returned, sweetheart. And I don't know if I'm strong enough to face him." Because I wasn't just fighting against Adrian's betrayal, I was fighting against my own heart. And the more he looked at me with those storm-gray eyes, the more I knew one terrifying thing. Possession wasn't just his, it was mine too. The next morning, I opened my front door and froze. Adrian was there. Again. He leaned against his car, dressed in another sharp black suit like he had stepped right out of a business magazine. But his eyes weren't cold. They were on me, soft in a way that scared me more than his anger ever had. "What are you doing here?" I asked, crossing my arms, his jaw tightened. "Making sure you don't disappear again." I almost laughed at the irony. "Funny, that's exactly what you let me do last time." He flinched, but didn't move. Noah ran past me, backpack bouncing, excitement lighting up his little face. "Mom, is he taking us to school today?" My stomach dropped. "Noah," but Adrian bent down, his voice gentle. "If your mom says yes, I'll drive you." Noah turned those big pleading eyes on me, and I was doomed. He had no idea what history stood between us, no idea how close he came to the truth every time he smiled at Adrian. I sighed. Fine, but just to school. Noah cheered and ran straight for the car. Adrian looked at me, a ghost of a smile tugging at his lips. Thank you. Don't thank me, I muttered, brushing past him. This doesn't mean anything. Inside the car, Noah chattered endlessly, filling every silence. Do you like pizza? I love pizza. Mommy makes the best. You should come sometime, I nearly choked. Noah. Adrian's lips curved slightly, but his eyes stayed on me in the rearview mirror. I'd like that, I shook my head quickly. That's not happening. His gaze locked with mine through the mirror, and for a second it felt like the world had gone still. That pull between us, the one I thought had died, was still alive. Stronger than ever. When we reached the school, Noah jumped out, waving goodbye before running to join his friends. The silence that followed was heavier than before. Adrian turned off the engine and leaned back, his eyes fixed on me. He's mine, isn't he? I swallowed hard. I already told you, yes. His hands tightened on the steering wheel. His voice was low, raw. I missed his whole life. His first steps, his first words, everything because of lies I believed. I turned sharply to him, anger bubbling in my chest. Because you didn't believe me. Do you know how it felt, Adrian? Begging you to trust me, while you looked at me like I was nothing. His face twisted, regret flashing in his eyes. I was blind. I was a fool. I looked away, my throat tight. And now you think you can just walk back in? Claim us? No, it doesn't work that way. For a moment, silence. Then his voice dropped, darker now. You think I'll walk away twice? His jaw hardened. You don't know me at all, Lena. I don't care how long it takes. I'm not letting you go again, and I'm sure as hell not letting another man raise my son. I turned back to him, my breath caught. His eyes burned with something fierce, something that pulled at every broken piece inside me. But I forced steel into my voice. You don't get to decide. Not anymore. That night I thought I'd gotten rid of him. But when I stepped outside to take the trash, there he was again, leaning against the hood of his car, waiting. My heart jumped. Are you following me? His lips curved, not in humor, but in challenge. I'm protecting what's mine. I froze, anger and something else flooding through me. I'm not yours, Adrian. He stepped closer, slow, deliberate, until I had to tilt my chin up to keep my eyes on his. Then why are you shaking right now? I hated him for being right. I hated myself more for wanting him. His hand lifted, brushing a strand of hair from my face. His touch barely there, but enough to send heat rushing through me. Tell me you don't feel it too, he whispered. I opened my mouth, ready to push him away, but the words didn't come. Because I did feel it. Every nerve in my body was screaming for him, even while my heart screamed run. I finally found my voice. Go home, Adrian. His eyes held mine, steady, unyielding. Home is wherever you are. And with that, he walked away, leaving me breathless, furious, and more broken than before. Later that night, I sat by Noah's bed again, watching him sleep peacefully. But my mind wasn't on him. It was on Adrian. The way his voice had dropped when he called Noah his son. The way his hand had trembled when he touched me. The way his eyes said what his lips never had. I love you. I pressed my hand to my chest, whispering to myself, don't fall again. Don't. But deep down, I knew the truth. The fire I had buried all these years wasn't gone. It was only waiting for him. And now that Adrian had found me, nothing would stop the flames. Not even me. The next week felt like living under a spotlight. No matter where I turned, Adrian was there, at the grocery store, standing 2 aisles down, pretending to compare brands, but his eyes never leaving me. At the park, sitting on a bench with his phone in hand, though I knew he wasn't working. He was watching Noah climb the swings, watching me laugh with other parents. Even outside my building at night, his car parked under the streetlight, as if he was guarding us. I hated how safe it made me feel. I hated how angry it made me too. Noah, on the other hand, adored him. Mom, can Adrian come play soccer with me today? He begged one afternoon, bouncing the ball in the hallway. No, honey. He's busy, I said quickly. But before Noah could pout, Adrian's voice came from the door. Not busy at all. I spun around. How do you always know when to show up? He smiled faintly. When it comes to you and Noah, I always will. Noah cheered and dragged him outside before I could argue. I stood at the window watching them kick the ball back and forth. Adrian let Noah score goal after goal, laughing as if this was the only place he wanted to be. And Noah, my sweet boy, looked at him like he'd been waiting his whole life for that moment. My throat tightened. It wasn't fair. Adrian had walked away once, but now he was worming his way back in, and I could already see Noah falling. What would happen when Adrian left again? When the man who called himself Dad disappeared? I couldn't let that happen. I wouldn't. The next evening, I went to dinner with Mark, a kind man from work who had asked me out a few times. He wasn't my type. Too quiet, too safe. But maybe safe was what I needed. We sat at a little restaurant, and for the first time in a while I felt a flicker of normal, until the door opened, until he walked in. Adrian. Tall, sharp, dangerous in his suit, scanning the room like a predator. His gaze locked on me instantly, and the storm in his eyes nearly stole my breath. He walked straight to our table. "Lena," he said, his voice low, controlled, too controlled. Mark looked between us, confused. "Do you two know each other?" I opened my mouth, but Adrian leaned down, his lips close to my ear. "You're mine. Remember that before you make a mistake tonight." Heat shot through me, anger, fear, something I couldn't name. I shoved him back. "You don't get to say that." Mark frowned, protective now. "Is this man bothering you?" Adrian's eyes flicked to him, sharp as glass. "Stay out of this." I grabbed Mark's arm, standing. "Let's just go." Adrian's jaw ticked, but he didn't move. He just watched, his eyes promising this wasn't over. That night, as soon as I tucked Noah into bed, there was a knock on my door. I opened it a crack, but Adrian pushed his way in, fury radiating off him. "What was that?" he demanded. I folded my arms, though my heart pounded. It was dinner. "That's all, Puma, with another man," he spat. "While I'm here fighting for you, for our son, you don't get to be jealous." I snapped. "You left me, Adrian. You broke me, and now you think you can waltz back in and claim me like nothing happened? No, I won't let you." His chest rose and fell, his fists clenched at his sides. "I made a mistake. The worst mistake of my life. But Lena, look at me, I didn't want to. But I did." His eyes burned raw with pain. "Every day without you has been hell. Every night I saw your face. Every time I passed a child on the street, I wondered if he looked like me. Like Noah, I can't change the past, but I can fight for the future. Our future." My walls wavered, but I forced my voice steady. "And what if I don't want you anymore?" He stepped closer, his voice dropping. "Then why do you shake every time I touch you? Why do your eyes soften when I say your name? You can lie with words, Lena, but your body still remembers mine." Heat flooded me, and I hated it. I hated him for knowing. I shoved him back, my hands trembling. "Get out." He stared at me, his jaw tight, but instead of leaving, he whispered, "I'm not going anywhere. Not until you admit the truth." Then he walked out, leaving the echo of his words haunting every corner of the room. Later that night, I sat on the floor, hugging my knees. I told myself I hated him. I told myself I didn't need him. But every memory, every kiss, every fight, every touch rushed back like a flood. I still loved him, and that terrified me more than anything. Because if I gave in again and he broke me one more time, there'd be nothing left of me to put back together. Still, when I closed my eyes, I could hear his voice. "Home is wherever you are." And against every piece of logic I had, I wanted to believe him. I thought ignoring Adrian would make him go away, but I was wrong. He was everywhere, like a shadow I couldn't shake. At the school gates, outside my work, at the park, sitting under a tree while Noah played. I told myself he was invading my space, but when Noah ran into his arms after soccer practice, grinning from ear to ear, my chest ached in a way I couldn't explain. And then came the school event. "There's a play this Friday," Noah said at dinner, spaghetti sauce smeared on his chin. "You have to come. And Adrian too." My fork clattered against the plate. "Noah, he has to," my son insisted, eyes bright. He promised he'd never miss anything important. I turned to Adrian, who had somehow made himself comfortable at my dinner table again. His gaze was steady, his voice calm. I meant what I said. I wanted to scream at him, to kick him out. But when I looked at Noah's hopeful little face, I couldn't say no. The night of the play, Noah spotted us in the crowd. He waved so wildly that the teacher had to remind him to stay in line. My heart swelled watching him, my little star shining on stage. When his eyes landed on Adrian, though, his whole face lit up in a way that nearly broke me. Afterward, Noah sprinted into Adrian's arms. "Did you see me? Did you hear me?" I remembered all my lines. Adrian hugged him tight, pride glowing in his eyes. "You were amazing. Better than anyone else up there." I watched, silent, my throat thick. It should have been me and him cheering together. It should have been our family, but it wasn't. Because when I needed him most, he wasn't there. That night, after putting Noah to bed, I found Adrian waiting in the kitchen. "You shouldn't keep coming here," I said, folding my arms to steady myself. His eyes softened. "You really want me gone?" "Yes," I lied. He stepped closer, so close I could feel the heat of his body. His voice was a whisper now. "Then say it while looking into my eyes." I lifted my chin, but my voice cracked. "Go home, Adrian." His hand brushed mine, just barely, sending shivers down my skin. "This is my home." I yanked my hand back, heart pounding. "Don't do this to me!" His face was raw, broken. "Lena, I love you." I never stopped. The words hit me like a storm. I wanted to scream at him, to push him out forever. But instead tears stung my eyes. "You don't get to say that. Not after everything." He reached out, but I stepped back, shaking my head. "You think love is enough?" I whispered. "Love doesn't erase the nights I cried myself to sleep. Love doesn't erase the way you doubted me when I begged for you to believe. Love doesn't erase the years you missed with Noah." His voice cracked. I'd give anything to change it, anything. I looked away, unable to meet his eyes. "But you can't." The next day, I tried to bury myself in work. I had a meeting with a new client, a woman named Clara who carried herself with too much confidence. She smiled politely, but her eyes lingered on me, sharp. "You're Noah's mother, aren't you?" Something in her tone made me stiffen. "Yes, why?" She tilted her head, her smile twisting. "Interesting. You know, Adrian used to spend a lot of time with me. He never mentioned you." The room spun. I clenched my fists under the table, forcing my voice calm. "That was years ago." "Maybe," she said lightly, leaning closer. "But men like Adrian don't change. They always come back to what feels good for the moment. You'll see." Her words sank like poison into my chest. That evening, Adrian showed up again, cheerful, holding pizza for Noah, but I couldn't look at him the same way. Clara's words echoed in my head, cutting deeper than I wanted to admit. Noah ran off to wash his hands, leaving us in the kitchen. Adrian noticed my silence immediately. "What's wrong?" I forced a bitter smile. "Tell me, Adrian, how many women did you have while I was breaking alone?" His jaw tightened.
"Lena, don't lie to me."
I snapped, my voice shaking. "Did you ever even look for me? Or was I just something you threw away so you could have your fun?" He stepped forward, anger and hurt clashing in his eyes. "Don't you dare think that. I may have been blind, but I was never faithless. Never. I couldn't look at another woman without seeing you." I swallowed, searching his face for the truth. His voice was too raw, too cracked to be a lie, but the seed of doubt was already planted, and it twisted inside me. And that night, lying awake, I thought of his words, and for the first time, I wondered if love wasn't the only danger. Maybe the real danger was how much power Adrian still had over me, how much of me still belonged to him, and how easily he could break me again. The next morning, I tried to clear my head by walking Noah to school alone. But as soon as we turned the corner, I saw Adrian's car parked across the street. His window rolled down, his eyes tracking us. I stopped in my tracks. "You can't keep following me." He stepped out, closing the door with a sharp click. "I'm not following. I'm protecting. From what? From who?" I demanded. His gaze darkened. "Clara," I froze. "You know?" His jaw clenched. "She came to me, tried to stir trouble, said things about us, about me that weren't true." I folded my arms, my voice sharp. "How do I know she's lying?" He stepped closer, his voice low, hard. "Because you know me. Because every time I touch you, your heart still races. That doesn't happen if I was just another liar." Heat rushed through me, anger mixing with something I refused to name. "Stop twisting my feelings, Adrian. He leaned closer, eyes blazing. I'm not twisting anything. I'm reminding you, you're mine. You always were. Before I could snap back, Noah tugged at my sleeve. Mom, I'll be late. I tore my gaze away from Adrian and walked Noah into the school, forcing my heartbeat to slow. But when I came back out, Adrian was still there, waiting. That night, I thought I was finally free of him, until a knock rattled my door. I opened it, and there he stood, rain dripping off his hair, his suit damp but his eyes fierce. Why are you here? I whispered, keeping my voice low so Noah wouldn't hear. Because I can't stay away, he said simply. I shook my head, my chest tight. You're making this harder. Good, he growled, stepping inside before I could stop him. Because you're pretending it's easy. Pretending you don't want me when every part of you says otherwise. I shoved his chest, my hands trembling. Stop. He caught my wrists, holding them gently but firmly against him. Look me in the eye and tell me you don't feel it. Tell me, Lena. I stared at him, at the drops of rain sliding down his jaw, at the raw fire in his eyes. My lips parted, but the words wouldn't come, because he was right. I hated him, I wanted him. Both burned inside me until I couldn't breathe. His grip softened, his thumb brushing my wrist. You can fight me all you want, but I won't let go. Not this time, my chest heaved. You don't get to own me. His voice dropped, rough with possession. I already do, and then he kissed me. It wasn't soft. It wasn't gentle. It was fire, raw and consuming, everything we'd buried crashing to the surface. I pushed against him, but not to escape, to pull him closer, to feel him again. My hands tangled in his wet shirt, his arms wrapped around me like he'd die before letting go. Years of anger and love collided, breaking down every wall I'd built. When we finally broke apart, gasping, I whispered, "This doesn't mean anything." His lips curved against mine. It means everything. Later, after he left, I sat by the window, touching my lips, still swollen from his kiss. I told myself it was a mistake. I told myself it couldn't happen again. But deep down, I knew the truth. I was already his. I had always been his. And that scared me more than anything, because if Adrian had the power to break me once, this time he had the power to destroy me completely. The days after that kiss were torture. I told myself it was nothing, a slip, a weakness. But every time I closed my eyes, I felt his lips again, demanding, claiming, burning me alive. Adrian didn't hide how he felt anymore. He came by every morning to drive Noah to school. He dropped by at lunch, always with some excuse. Groceries, a forgotten paper, or just to check on us. At night, I caught his car parked outside, the headlights off, but I knew he was there. And Noah. He was falling fast. Mom, can Adrian come to my game on Saturday? Please, I sighed. Noah, he's busy. No, I'm not. Adrian's voice cut in from the kitchen where he was helping himself to coffee like he lived here. I glared at him. Do you ever knock? He smiled faintly. Not when I'm home. Home. The word made my chest ache. A Saturday came, and Noah played like his life depended on it, running across the field, glancing every few minutes to make sure Adrian was watching. When he scored, Adrian shot up, cheering louder than anyone, pride glowing in his face. Noah beamed like the sun itself was shining just for him. I should have been happy. Instead, fear twisted inside me, because the more Noah clung to Adrian, the more dangerous this became. If Adrian left again, Noah would be shattered, and so would I. Then after the game, Noah ran ahead with friends, leaving me and Adrian walking side by side. You shouldn't come to everything, I muttered. It confuses him. Adrian's voice was steady. It's not confusion. It's truth. I'm his father. I stopped, staring at him. And what happens if you walk away again? He'll break, Adrian. Do you understand that? His jaw clenched. I'm not leaving. You say that now. I swear it, Lena. His eyes burned into mine. I've made mistakes, but I'll never walk away again. Not from you. Not from him. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to. But doubt gnawed at me, whispering that love had failed us once, and it could again. That night, while Noah slept, Adrian knocked at my door. I opened it, annoyed. What now? He held up a folder. Something you need to see. Against my better judgment, I let him in. He laid the folder on the table, sliding it toward me. Inside were papers, emails, contracts, documents I didn't understand. But one name jumped out. Clara. My stomach dropped. What is this? Adrian's voice was hard. Proof she lied. She forged deals in my company years ago. Blamed you when things went wrong. I believed her. That's why I doubted you. That's why I lost you. I stared at the papers, my hands trembling. So all this, everything, was because of her? Yes, he said bitterly. And I let it happen. I let her poison me against you. It's my biggest regret. Tears stung my eyes. Do you have any idea what you did to me, to us? His hand reached for mine, but I pulled away. I know, he whispered, his voice breaking. And I'll spend the rest of my life making it right. If you let me. Silence stretched between us, heavy, aching. Then I whispered the question that had haunted me for years. Did you ever stop loving me? His eyes met mine, fierce and raw, not for a single second. The walls inside me cracked, just a little, because no matter how much I fought it, I knew he was telling the truth. Adrian had hurt me. He had broken me. But the way he looked at me now, like I was his whole world, made my heart tremble. I should have pushed him away. Instead, I whispered, "Don't make promises you can't keep." His voice was steady, his hand brushing my cheek. This time I won't break them. And that night I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. I told myself I hated him. I told myself I couldn't forgive him, but deep down I knew the war was already lost because no matter how hard I tried, I still loved him. And that love was about to burn everything I thought I knew. I thought things couldn't get more tangled. I was wrong. Adrian wasn't just present. He was everywhere. When I went grocery shopping, he was at the next aisle. When I picked Noah from school, his car followed. At night, when I switched off the lights, I swore I felt his shadow outside the window. Part of me hated it, part of me found comfort in it, and that terrified me most. One evening, Noah was working on a school project at the dining table. Adrian sat beside him, cutting colored paper while giving business advice like he was teaching a boardroom instead of a child. Strategy is everything. Noah, always think 2 steps ahead. I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. He's 9, Adrian. Not a CEO? Adrian looked up, smirking. Then I better start early. He's my son. Noah beamed at that, and I felt the ground tilt under me. How easily Adrian claimed him. How easily Noah accepted it. Later, when Noah was asleep, I cornered Adrian in the living room. You're making promises you can't keep. You show up, you take over, and Noah believes this is forever. Adrian's gaze was calm, too calm. Because it is. My chest tightened. Don't do this, Adrian. If you leave again, you'll destroy him. His jaw locked. I'm not leaving. Not again. I told you I'm here for life. And if I don't want you in mine? His eyes darkened, sharp as steel. Then I'll wait until you do. But I'm not giving up. Not on you. Not on him. You can fight me, Lena, but you'll lose. Because you still love me. The certainty in his voice rattled me. Because he wasn't wrong. The next day, my phone rang. The number made my stomach twist. Clara. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something in me needed answers. I picked up. Lena. Her voice was smooth, cold. Still playing family with Adrian, I see. Why are you calling me? Because I thought you deserved to know. Adrian doesn't change. He thinks he can erase the past, but men like him always betray twice. Don't forget who ruined you the first time. It wasn't just me. It was him. And it will be again. Her words stabbed like knives. I wanted to hang up, but she wasn't finished. One more thing. Don't get too comfortable. Adrian may think he's won, but I don't lose. And I'm not finished with either of you. The line went dead. My hands shook as I lowered the phone. When that night, I told Adrian, she called me. His expression darkened instantly. What did she say? That you'll betray me again? That you never change? His fists clenched. She's trying to poison you. Just like before. Don't let her. I shook my head, voice breaking. But what if she's right? What if you hurt us again? Adrian stepped closer, his voice fierce. I won't. I'd burn the world before I let you doubt. That. His intensity scared me and thrilled me, but fear still sat heavy in my chest. The breaking point came too. Nights later, I woke up to find the front door unlocked. Panic shot through me. I always double-checked, always. I grabbed a bat from the corner and crept down the hall, heart hammering. When I reached the living room, I froze. The door was cracked open. And standing outside, half hidden in the shadows, was Adrian. Adrian, my voice shook. What are you doing? He turned, startled, like a man caught in a crime. His hair was messy, his shirt untucked, his eyes wild with something I didn't understand. I couldn't sleep, he admitted hoarsely. I needed to see you, to make sure you were safe. At 3 a.m, my voice cracked. Do you realize how insane this looks? He stepped forward, his voice breaking. I can't stop, Lena. I can't stop watching, protecting, wanting. You and Noah, you're all I have. Without you, I'm nothing, my breath caught. Because in that moment, he wasn't a billionaire. He wasn't powerful, untouchable Adrian. He was a man on his knees, desperate, broken. And somehow it made me love him more. Which was the real danger. Before I could respond, Noah's small voice cut through the silence. Mom, Adrian, what's happening? I turned. He was standing in the hallway, rubbing his eyes. Adrian straightened immediately, his expression softening. Nothing, buddy. Go back to sleep. But Noah shook his head, stepping closer. Don't fight. Please don't fight. I don't want him to leave again. My heart shattered. I bent down, holding Noah's face. Baby, no one's leaving. I promise. When I looked up, Adrian's eyes locked on mine. And in that silent exchange, I knew the truth. We were at the edge, one move, and everything, our past, our pain, our love would explode. The storm had broken, and there was no turning back. What happened next will shock you because I didn't expect Clara to move this fast. It was a Thursday evening. I had just put Noah to bed when my phone buzzed again. A message this time. No name, just a photo. My heart nearly stopped. It was Adrian, sitting in a restaurant. Across from him was Clara. Her hand was resting on his. For a second, my knees almost gave out. The caption below, see? He never really left me. For I couldn't breathe. The room spun. All I could think was, not again. Not this time. When Adrian came home later that night, I was waiting in the living room. My arms were crossed, but my chest was trembling with fire. Where were you? I asked, my voice sharp. He looked at me, tired but calm. Meetings. Meetings with Clara? I threw the phone at him, the picture glowing on the screen. His jaw tightened as he caught it. His eyes narrowed. She set this up. Answer me, Adrian. My voice cracked. Was it real? He tossed the phone aside, his voice like steel. I was with her, yes, but only to warn her to stay away from you. I laughed bitterly, tears burning. And she just happened to hold your hand? Do you think I'm stupid? Adrian's chest heaved. Lena, listen to me. No, I snapped. You promised. You promised you wouldn't hurt me again. And now this, he slammed his fist against the wall, making me jump. His eyes burned, his voice raw. I told you I'm not leaving you. Don't you get it? I would rather die than lose you again. The desperation in his voice scared me more than the picture. The fight spiraled. I told him I couldn't trust him. He told me trust didn't matter anymore, that possession was stronger than trust. You're mine, Lena. Even if you hate me, you're mine. I can't breathe without you. Don't say that, I sobbed. You can't trap me with your love like it's a cage. Adrian grabbed my shoulders, shaking. Then tell me you don't feel it. Tell me you don't love me too. Say it, my lips trembled. I wanted to scream I don't, but the truth clawed at me. Raw and merciless, I loved him. God help me. I still loved him, and that was my greatest weakness. Back the next morning, Clara's war escalated. I arrived at Noah's school to find whispers in the air, mothers staring at me. One finally came up, pity in her eyes. I heard about Adrian, about the other woman. I'm so sorry, my stomach turned to stone. Clara wasn't just coming after me, she wanted to humiliate me. She wanted to rip my life apart piece by piece. When I told Adrian, he went cold. She thinks she can play games. His voice was ice. I'll ruin her. She'll regret ever touching what's mine. Something in his tone made me shiver. It wasn't love anymore, it was obsession. Hours that night, the storm hit its peak. I found Adrian in the study, his desk covered in files. Clara's company, her accounts, her life mapped out for destruction. Adrian, stop this, I pleaded. You can't fight her like this. You'll lose yourself, his eyes snapped up, wild. She wants to take you. To take Noah, I won't let her. I'll crush her before she gets close. This isn't love anymore, Adrian. This is war. He strode toward me, grabbing my face in his hands. His voice was hoarse, desperate. Don't you understand? Love is war. And I will win, even if you hate me for it. Tears slipped down my cheeks. And what if I walk away? What if I take Noah and leave? His grip tightened. His eyes burned into mine. Then I'll follow, to the ends of the earth. Because without you, I am nothing. You can call it obsession. You can call it madness. But it's the only truth I have left. That night I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Noah's soft breathing filled the silence, and in my heart, two truths wrestled like fire and water. Adrian was destroying me, but losing him would destroy me too. Didn't know if this was love anymore or just survival, but one thing was clear, the final choice was coming, and once I made it, nothing would ever be the same. What happened will shock you. Clara's final strike came on a rainy Friday evening. I was cooking dinner, Noah humming in the living room, when my phone buzzed again. A headline, Billionaire Adrian Cole's affair with mistress revealed, and beneath it, photos of Adrian and Clara. Old ones, new ones, some real, some clearly doctored. My heart pounded so hard, I could barely stand. She had gone public, and she had dragged me with her. I stormed into Adrian's office, throwing the phone onto his desk. Explain this, I shouted. He glanced at the screen, then at me. His jaw hardened, his eyes black as night. She wants war, he said coldly. Then I'll give her war. No, Adrian. My voice cracked. This isn't about business anymore. This is about us, about me, about Noah. She's destroying everything we have left. Adrian slammed his fist against the desk. I don't care if I burn with it, as long as she burns first. His fury was terrifying, and yet deep inside, I recognized it. It was the same fire inside me. That night, Clara showed up at my door. I almost didn't open it, but Noah was awake, and I didn't want him to hear the pounding. When I stepped outside, Clara's smile was poisonous. You think you've won, Lena? He doesn't love you. He only knows how to destroy, and soon he'll destroy you too. Her words stabbed deep, but I stood my ground. For the first time, I didn't shrink back. You're wrong, I said, my voice steady. Because you only see his darkness. But I've lived in it, and I've also seen his light. That's the difference between us, she sneered. Light? You call his obsession light? Yes, I whispered. Because obsession can break you, or it can rebuild you, and I choose to believe it will rebuild us. Her eyes flashed with fury. Then when he ruins you, don't say I didn't warn you. She turned and walked away, and something in me shifted. I wasn't her victim anymore. Not Adrian's, not anyone's. I was done being nice. Inside, Adrian was waiting, restless. Clara was here, I told him. He tensed instantly. What did she say? That you'll ruin me too. That you can't change. He looked away, guilt flickering in his eyes. Maybe she's right. I stepped closer, my voice fierce. No, she's wrong. Because you may be broken, Adrian. But so am I, and maybe that's why we belong together. His eyes snapped to mine, wide, vulnerable. Lena, I love you, I said, tears sliding down my cheeks. I hate you sometimes. You drive me insane. But I love you. And I'm not running anymore. If you're going to fight for us, then fight. But do it with me, not around me. Not over me, with me. For a moment, silence hung between us. Then Adrian dropped to his knees, grabbing my hands. I swear, his voice broke. I'll fight with you, not just for you, with you. And for the first time in years, I believed him. And the days that followed weren't easy. Clara kept pushing, more stories, more lies. But Adrian didn't hide anymore. He stood beside me, hand in mine, daring the world to break us. At school, when parents whispered, I held my head high. At work, when rumors spread, I ignored them because for once I wasn't the silent victim. I was the woman who rose from ashes. The turning point came when Clara tried to ambush Adrian at a public event. Cameras flashed as she threw accusations, waving papers like weapons. But instead of denying, instead of lashing out, Adrian pulled me to his side. his arm firm around my waist. "My past doesn't define me," he said loudly, every word measured. "This woman." He looked at me, eyes burning with love and possession. "This woman is my future. And I will not let anyone rewrite that," the crowd gasped. Reporters shouted questions. Clara's face twisted in rage. But for the first time, I felt unshakable because he had chosen me not in secret, not in shadow, but in the light. At night, after Noah was asleep, Adrian and I sat in the living room. The storm outside had quieted, leaving only soft rain tapping the windows. I curled against him, his arms wrapping around me. "Do you think we'll ever really be free of her?" I whispered. He kissed the top of my head. "Maybe not, but we'll be stronger than her, together." I looked up at him, my heart full and heavy all at once. "You scare me, Adrian. The way you love. The way you need." He touched my cheek gently, his voice soft. "And you save me, Lena, every day." For the first time, I didn't flinch at his possession because I finally understood it. It wasn't a cage anymore. It was a fire, and I was choosing to burn with him. The woman they kicked down had risen again. Her heart was no longer a home for their lies, and she was done playing. Nice, because now the game had changed. If you loved this story, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment where you're watching from. It means the world.